Pauline Hanson's One Nation could become the leader of the opposition in federal politics if an election were to be held today. The party is showing an upward trajectory in polling since the 2025 election. Our chief election analyst, Connell, breaks down the numbers in this week's exclusive Sky News Pulse.
The very first Sky News polls has One Nation, if an election were held today, as effectively replacing the coalition as the opposition party in Australian federal politics. Let's look at the primary vote that makes this happen and compare it to the result at the May election. So Labor is down 3.5%, but One Nation, here's the outlier, 25% and up 18.6% since the election. The Liberal Party, it's taken a big hit, a primary of 14. You see the Greens pretty steady at 12. Independents slightly down. But the other big hits are to other Liberal or coalition parties. The LNP, of course, the Liberals and Nationals are still merged in Queensland. They lose nearly half their vote, 4% down from 7.1. And the Nationals also losing about half their vote, down to just 2% of the national vote. Even if we put the coalition back together, they still only get 20%, so clearly behind One Nation at 25 and down nearly 12% compared to where they were at the last election. And it's where this is happening that would mean a change of seats. In outer metropolitan seats, for example, One Nation, well, it does still trail Labor, but it's well ahead of the coalition. So on these sort of primary votes, that's One Nation, certainly in the hunt in seats, and it will be higher in certain seats as well, remember, so in those 2PP contests. Then we look at rural seats. It is by far now the dominant party, 35% the primary vote. So you can see Labor at 23, 35 to One Nation, and the coalition, the point here, well behind. So this is going to be clearly picking up seats for One Nation. If the swings in rural seats happen like this, well, no Nat would be safe, not even the leader. On a two-party preferred basis, the contest between Labor and the coalition hasn't actually changed, 55-45, the same as the last election. So still a Labor thumping. We are also now tracking the alternative two-party preferred. One Nation as the opposition, yes. Even though One Nation's primary is higher than the coalition, the assumption here, Liberal voters are not going to preference One Nation as strongly as they would Liberal voters. So the Labor 2PP is even higher here at 57 to 43%. So what about leadership? Susan Lee's performance as leader, it's effectively been slammed by voters. 26% satisfied with the job she's doing, 57% now saying basically she's not up to it, 17% unsure. So her net satisfaction, this is the key one, minus 31%. The Prime Minister, he's had his own rebuke from voters on his handling of the Bondi terror attacks. 5% saying he's done very well. 38% have said he responded well, or as well as he could have in difficult circumstances. So not saying a good job necessarily, but that it's been a tough time to manage things. 21% saying even in this tough circumstance, he should have done better. 28%, a high number here, saying he's done very badly. That's a high number considering as well how high profile this has been. He is effectively on notice whenever the next crisis emerges. When we split the responses that are net positive and net negative, it's a bit better for the Prime Minister. As you can see, 43% saying overall he's done okay, 49% in the negative. Before Bondi, we thought the social media ban, which began on December 10, was going to be the big news of the summer. So how has it been received? We've taken a poll before and after. So the latest numbers suggest 40% are supporting this strongly. That's actually up 3% since it began. 29% say they support it somewhat, so that's steady. Those unsure slightly down. Somewhat opposed is a little bit up, but strongly opposed. This would be the number the government looks at the most closely. It's actually down significantly from 9% to 6%. So strong support for the ban is only getting stronger. Finally, on immigration, a big driver, no doubt, of One Nation support. Well, the numbers here are stark. 3%, increase it a lot, they're saying. 5%, increase it a small amount. 28%, about the same. But here's where the big numbers come in. 21% say, let's increase it by a small amount, and a massive 43% want a big decrease. That's a big number. Immigration, always a difficult and complex issue to manage, and numbers have been coming down from the extraordinary highs, but clearly the government has a lot more work to do to convince voters the way immigration is being run is actually good for the country.